Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to this very special show featuring Trace Mayer. It's beyond the One Bitcoin show because when he comes on the show, we got to have just a complete special. We'll have the One Bitcoin show later in the evening. But now we got to have Trace on because apparently there's all these wacky things going on in cryptocurrency. And I think people want to hear what Trace has to say about some of these. We haven't heard from him about. He's been very busy. And I want to hear what he has to say about this SV, ABC, Bcash, fake Satoshi, real Satoshi type of stuff. So Trace, welcome back to the show, baby.
Yeah, glad to be here. Let's kick the tires and light the fires.
Well, let's already... People want their SV. They want it so much. You tweet, what has happened here? You had a very interesting tweet that you just sent out there.
Well, I think it's interesting. You know, if you, there's a lot of noise in this industry, and there's not a lot of signal. And if you get yourself stuck over in RBTC, you're over in like a very noisy place without a lot of signal. And if you're if people like listen to my podcast, like I'm all about being the hodler last resort, and you need to have security as like your prime focus. That's why I funded Armory, right? And there's a post over there on RBTC, and this clown imports his seed into a fake Electron SV wallet so he can get his airdrop from this Bcash SV like drama that's going on. And of course, what happens? 335 of his Bcash gone like that, $140,000, and he's like shaking. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like capital is gonna flow to who treats it best. If you don't respect the private keys, they're gone. And they go to somebody who does respect the private keys. And the capital that's getting transferred via this new crypto age, it's going to the people who respect it. And so you got to have some clear thinking. You got to hone in on signal, not on noise, and get distracted. And that's how you're going to actually be able to keep the rabbit. Everybody's chasing the rabbit. Who's actually going to keep the rabbit?
Well, here's part of the problem. Not everyone even knows what the rabbit is anymore. There's so much crypto noise. They think, perhaps with all these threats of war, that this is the deal I want to get behind. This is what I should be following here. And the crypto noise is confusing a lot of people out there. It really is. I mean, one of the people behind this SV, he's saying he's going to reveal a problem with SegWit in the future. He's not going to reveal it right now. What do you think about the figurehead behind SV?
Which one? Fake Toshi?
Fake Toshi, yeah.
So Fake Toshi said that he's got a couple of Bitcoins. I'd like to buy all of his Bitcoins that he's got. If he's really got some that he's going to dump on the market, like, come at me, bro. Like, I'd like to buy them all, to be honest. And so, like, let's get a deal done, do some business. But anyways, like, Fake Toshi, it's great entertainment value. But like, if you get suckered into paying attention to him and giving him any credence, I have to really question your cognitive ability.
Well, unfortunately, that guy did. The person who lost his Bcash really got enthralled with all of this, and there's demagoguery going on here. It's unbelievable. But I mean, I don't get how people can fall for this either. But he talks a big game. So on a technical level, does he actually know anything?
I haven't seen anything. I mean, prove it. Like, to be honest, I don't really pay any attention, hardly at all. I don't like, I just life's too short. I got too much other stuff to do.
That's
like, why pay any attention to this guy?
No, people had not been paying attention. And then this fork comes up and everyone thinks they're going to get free coins, which I guess would have been nice. But then he took advantage of the situation and started talking the talk, and the talk just never stopped. And it never. So how's it going to all? I mean, I think he's faking it until he makes it. Okay. I think he's going to move the goalpost. I think he's going to claim victory no matter what the outcome of all this is. But what is up with this hash war? I mean, do you think he's got the ability to win it, to shut down the ABC version? Are there going to be two at the end of the day?
Like, prove it. Where's his hash rate? But it doesn't even matter. Like, we're talking about some altcoin that doesn't even matter. Like, Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin. Like, we did this last year. My average sales price is like 0.118. It's what, like 0.07 or something? I don't even know. Like, yoink, I just took a bunch of Bitcoins with your stupid fork. And now, and you didn't learn, and you're going to do this fork thing again. Like, you're going to lose, you're going to lose your Bcash if you go running off after the inferior chain that's being, supported by the inferior brain. So I think it's just kind of a joke. Like, but on the good side, we're going to get some helpful data out of this. We're going to see some adversarial economic game theory play out in blockchains. The only problem I find is that I don't think we get the full extent of that adversarial game theory, because the people playing the game just don't have the cognitive capacity that the people in the Bitcoin space have. And that's why they're playing in the kiddie pool and not in the big pool, and so anyways, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of drama. But at the end of the day, they're not getting any more Satoshis on the Bitcoin blockchain as a result of this behavior.
Well, this is the thing. You say it's just another altcoin, and it is just another altcoin. But there are many people in the space that don't grasp that concept, okay? And there has been panic. And he is trying to position himself as something that is as big as Bitcoin and that can attack Bitcoin.
I mean, this is great, because hodlers of last resort on the Bitcoin blockchain, we're bleeding them out of all their Bitcoin Satoshis. We're bleeding them out. And they're losing their position. They're losing their territory on the Bitcoin blockchain. Like, okay, go play on that little kiddie pool. You want to put your big boy shorts on? Like, you got to play in the Bitcoin blockchain if you want to wear your big boy pants. Like, that's just the way it is.
This is where the big boys play. That's what I always say. Pound that like button. That Tracy and I we're thinking the same here. We're on the same line.
Well, I mean, clear back in 2015, I was asked by Juan Galt, at Anarchapulco. He asked, well, what about Bitcoin Core? Like, what about their competitors? And I was just saying what everybody knew. What competitors? The other guys, they're the JV bench warmers. Like, if they were any good, they'd have pull requests that got accepted and merged. They don't, because they're bench warmers on the JV team. Like, they're in the kiddie pool with their little floaters on their arms to stay afloat. Like, they're not players. They don't really matter. So it's just a lot of drama, but not a lot of substance.
Yeah, well, I think in the overall crypto space, people, they don't grasp JV team versus varsity versus fresh soft team. We even had one of those at my high school. But because if you look right now, I mean, amazingly enough, I think a lot of us have missed this. And this speaks loud and clear about the people that are buying, that don't value their wealth in Bitcoin, I'll tell you that. Ripple now by market cap is listed as number 2 on CoinMarketCap right now. Ripple overtook Ethereum.
Yeah, but they have lockup agreements on the XRP and whatever. They have a market making program. It's like Bitmain valuing their million Bcash at spot. Yeah, nuh-uh. You sell 30,000 of that Bcash and you're gonna drain the entire order books worldwide. And the other fun part about all of this stuff is how it's tied in with Tether and with Bitfinex, because last I checked, there's now a 3% withdrawal. Like if you want to withdraw USD out of Bitfinex, it's 3%. Yes. Like, man, that inspires a ton of confidence. Guess what? It's another doxing. It's another, people didn't learn the first time. So guess what? That guy who lost his 335 Bcash, like, that's small potatoes. We got another doxing happening with billions of dollars at stake.
You're on the line of onto the topic of Tether and Bitfinex. You think things aren't good over there? You are.
Why is there a 3% withdrawal on USD, and why is it taking time to process the wires?
It would appear that they don't have the US dollars. That's what it would. That's
like I needed some USD because I made a large purchase the other day. I submitted it at LedgerX. It was wired out within 30 minutes. Hit my bank account in 30 minutes. Like, what's the deal? Like, no. Like, you either got the dollars and you can wire them or you can't. You either got the Bitcoin and you can send them or you can't. Like, and if you can't send them, you start like putting 3% withdrawal fees and you start saying like, oh, we got a new bank, or oh this or oh that, like excuse after excuse after excuse. Like, when are people going to learn? We've been in this industry for a decade. Like, seriously, a decade. Mount Gox. Like, everybody's had plenty of warning. Like, no sympathy. No sympathy.
Well, no, there are what you're saying. I mean, to put this all out here for the newbies, you control your own private key, people. You don't store it at an exchange. You don't mess with these exchanges. They all get hacked eventually.
Dude, hodler of last resort. Bitcoin Core, Armory, Glacier Protocol, Purism Laptop. It's that simple.
There's your Glacier Protocol again. People liked when you brought that up last time. Talk about it some more. Talk about some Glacier Protocol.
Well, I mean, it's 85-page PDF. You can go download it, like read through. You'll learn where the landmines are. Like, seriously, if you're not doing your homework, if you're not educating yourself, what are you doing here? Like, you're going to lose some coins? You're going to lose your money? Like, is that what you're doing here? Like, seriously.
Well,
like, grow up. Personal responsibility.
Bam! Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. Keep on going.
No, that's just, I mean, it's that simple. Like, Bitcoin is absolutely brutal at allocating the gains and the losses. Like, it's just brutal. 335 Bcash. The guy's like, don't make fun of me. It might push me over the edge.
Guys, you don't want to end up with like these guys that we're talking about that don't control. I mean, first of all, Glacier Protocol, again, Trace, you're a real smart dude and everything. Not everyone can read that whole thing. I mean, that's for the tech dudes. I mean, what would you write below that? Below, just control your own private key on your Trace.
No. They're like, I'm the hodler of last resort. There's nothing below the best. That's why I'm in Bitcoin. The best. Like, it's that simple. Like, nothing below the best. I gave you the 4 things. That's it.
Repeat the 4 things. You still do your best.
Bitcoin Core for network validation. Armory for managing your private keys. Glacier Protocol for your standard operating procedures. And a Purism laptop for your hardware. None of this like Ledger stuff. None of this Trezor stuff. Like, the best.
The best. Hey, man, everything they just said, that takes some learning out there, okay? And we live in a fast-paced world, and you know that so many of the people in the space will never touch any of those 4 things that you just mentioned. But
then lose your Bitcoin. Be poor. Seriously, personal responsibility, order, integrity, done. It's that simple.
This is this is the holder of last resort we're talking to right here.
Well, I mean, I talked about this on Pierre Richard's show too, that like, I'm the hodler of last resort. I coined the term, right? like none of this Bitcoin Cash is a real Bitcoin. I want people to know exactly what they're buying. I want to know exactly why they're buying it. I want them to know exactly how to keep it safe and secure, so they don't lose it. I mean, like, it's horrible. It's horrible to make the right decision at the right time, but implement it the wrong way and lose your money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrible. I got a friend.
Yeah, is the blockchain.info story?
Yeah, blockchain.info. My friend went to law school with her where I help them buy their first $100 of Bitcoin. They keep it in blockchain.info. I get pinged on Skype. The Bitcoins are all gone. It'd be like $10 million today. Ooh, bam. Like, why'd you procrastinate? Why didn't you take it serious? Personal responsibility.
Yeah, at this point, people should not be keeping anything on blockchain.info. There's much better alternatives out there. Obviously, that's like the worst.
Yeah, and this isn't just for the Bitcoin space. Have you seen what's going on in the general markets, the stock market? How about PG&E stock? They set California on fire. They've imploded. We have way more debt than we had in 2007 globally. Interest rates are going up. Guess what's going to happen? GE, it's now junk. Yeah. GE's junk. It's junk rated. Guess what's going to happen? In December, it was paying 4% interest rate. It's over 6.2% now. Guess what's going to happen? Counterparty risk, financial counterparty going to fail. All that debt goes poof, evaporates. Bitcoin, it floats on top of the bathtub water. The Fed puts more water in, Bitcoin will go up because the water goes up. They don't. They quantitative ease. The drain goes down. Bitcoin goes down. It's floating on top of the water. It's going to get crazy, absolutely crazy. In the general financial markets, in the Bitcoin markets, it's always crazy. It's just where we're at. And if you're going to take the risk to own Apple shares that, you probably don't even actually own because there's like this DTCC and like a chain of 50 bajillion people between you and your shares. And like, you don't even have voting rights. And then like, let's say you have Facebook shares and it's like 10 voting shares to 1 share that you own. So no control there either. Or do you just have the private keys to your own thing? Personal responsibility. Like it's been a decade. Humanity, they've had the opportunity to get themselves educated. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong. It's coming.
On like Donkey Kong. Pound that like button, people, for that 80s arcade reference. All right, I prefer Junior Pac-Man, actually, but that's for another show. So
that's what you do with all these forks, just gobbling up Satoshis like Pac-Man.
Exactly. Value your wealth in Bitcoin, people. Value your wealth. If you happen to... If this thing actually splits in two and you end up with an SV and ABC version, we'll definitely dump that SV for the.
Think about it. We've had Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Super Bitcoin, Bitcoin Diamond, Micro Bitcoin just happened like a month ago. Bitcoin Private, Bitcoin Lightning. Like we've had like 70 of these things.
Yeah.
You've been scarfing up all the stuff like Pac-Man, like getting as many Satoshis as you can with all of these forks. Or are you like technologically illiterate, not able to safely claim your forks because you haven't done your homework? Just sitting around hoping to get rich.
Number two is most people. Number two is most people. I mean, first of all, most people don't even know these forks exist. But it's scary as anything. It's not even worth someone's while to experiment if they're not fully confident to try to get something like B Diamond. Like it's not even worth if they're not fully confident in what they're doing. I mean, you're talking a level of expertise and knowledge that few would really have at this point.
Yeah, but like, what are people doing? They're paying attention to all this drama instead of like doing the homework and figuring out how to like get more Satoshis with all these forks. I mean, like I was looking at it and like I think the forks that I've claimed are now down something like 96%. since I actually realized the sale on them. You know, early bird gets the worm. It's just the way it is.
Exactly. And so there's some people out here, and I'm sure you have heard this before, Trace. They're like, Trace Mayer is lucky. He's only lucky that he has as much Bitcoin as he has. He got it, for 10 cents back in the day. But look what Trace just said here. He's got all his Bitcoin and everything. He's got so much knowledge and confidence that all these insane forks that came out, he turned every single one into Bitcoin. So it's not luck, people. It is not luck at all. I mean, he's got, from the forks alone, he's got more Bitcoin than the people that are hating on him. They're no coiners anyway, most likely.
Well, probably more than like fake Satoshi too. But no, I mean, it's really funny. Like the more I prepare, and the more opportunities that come along, the luckier I get. It's the strangest thing. I just don't get it. Like, what's up with that?
That's what's envy. It's envy out there. It's people. Well, they're not in motion. They want to complain.
It's people not taking personal responsibility. Like, go get in the Occupy Wall Street line. Beg for something. You know, put your head out. Like, do a GoFundMe or whatever. You know, like what?
So you wanted something that you said before that stuck out in my mind. You like people should understand what they're getting into. That you're out there to tell people what Bitcoin really is, and so that they don't fall for something that other people are calling Bitcoin, which some say Bcash. Let's go back and how this whole Bcash thing was born with the small blocks versus big blocks, SegWit, all that stuff. Remind everyone the differences and why, and put into the current situation why what's going on with Bcash right now can't happen with Bitcoin, and why Bitcoin is superior and different with its high hash rate and small blocks, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I mean, the reason Bitcoin's different is because it's got hodlers of last resort that freaking rocket. Know what I'm saying? They freaking rocket.
I know it.
And it doesn't matter what happens to the price. Like, they hold and then they acquire more. And what's that do? It makes the block reward worth more. So it incentivizes miners to come in and provide that hash rate. But it's all about the hodlers of last resort. They're the ones with the unencumbered monetary sovereignty. Power.
Well, first of all, the holders of last resort, that's what they just say, we're lucky, I guess. Well, you in one of your tweets, you talk. It was a crypto winter tweet. I don't even have it out here now. I'm just remembering it from memory. And some people contacted me about it because you said like $3,000 in it. Do you remember this tweet at all?
Yeah. I mean, like, I was, after it ran to 1,300, it came down like it always does in these cycles, because that's just what these cycles are, And I was asked, where it was. I think it's about 400 at the time, and there is like, brutal bear market just like this one. And it was like, well, how low could it go? And I was like, well, maybe like 300. But if something really bad happens, like Mt. Gox failing, it could go to like 200. It went to, I think, 192, something like that. Mt. Gox failed. A lot of people lost a lot of money in Mt. Gox. I didn't lose anything at all. I got lucky again. Whatever.
So you said this time around it could go down to 3,000 basically, and people were like, Trace said 3,000.
Well, I mean, and then it's like, well, it could go to 115,000 too. Like, Bitcoin's a wild and crazy. I mean, this thing, like, there's a lot of difference in how people value this thing, and so we get the price going all over the place. But yeah, I mean, it could bleed out. I mean, if it gets really bad, I mean, look at Tether and how that's a foundation for a lot of these shady exchanges out there, and price discoveries happening over there. And now we got Bakkt like coming online, and they're going to be charging $1 per contract, $1 for a Bitcoin. I mean, your cheapest legit exchanges are charging like $8 or 12, 20 bucks like per Bitcoin. So if price discovery moves to Bakkt and large institutions are coming in, and that might be part of what's happening in this game. Maybe Bakkt and some of these big players, maybe they're like getting ready to cut Bitfinex off at the knees and move price discovery away from Bitfinex and the other exchanges and onto Bakkt, where big boys play with billions and billions of dollars.
Wow, this is something to think about. You can tell I'm thinking about it right now.
And we gotta who else is involved with Tether? Binance and Bitmain, and like we got all this mining and stuff, but we got to bleed all of this out. We got to bleed all of them out.
I got to say with the Tether stuff, and I'm not concerned about the Tethers.
Because obviously you don't hold very much. If you hold $1 million of it, it's $30,000 to do a withdrawal.
Of course I have no Tether at all. I have nothing to do. I have nothing to do with it. I think it is there's a psychology to the Bitcoin space. There is definitely a psychology, and I think most people get caught up in the panics when there's no need to get caught up in the panics when you just hold your Bitcoin and you control your private key. But so with this whole Bcash fork thing, fake Toshi started pumping it up like it was the end of the world for all of crypto. He's going to take all of crypto down with him if he can't have his way. And people panic when there's no reason to panic. People are easily manipulated in the crypto space. I've got to say, a lot of people are. And you're saying the best way to defeat that, and I agree, is knowledge. And that's why you call your thing the Bitcoin Knowledge Podcast, probably. I don't know. I'm just guessing that.
Knowledge is power. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, speaking of again, going back to the Bcash, would you debate Craig Wright?
I was already on a panel with him. It was me, Joseph von Perling, Nick Szabo, Ed Moy, and it was the first time Nick Szabo appeared publicly, and then Craig Wright on there too. So, but I mean, the way I debate Craig Wright is I would buy all these Bitcoins that he says he's threatening to dump. Like, that's how I'll debate Craig Wright. Like, how many Bitcoins you got? Yoink, I'll buy them all.
Dude, that would be great. Well, I mean, he doesn't have any. And that's the thing. I believe this Calvin guy behind him, I didn't know much about Calvin beforehand, but Calvin is a billionaire, actually. So
that's word on the street, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's a wealthy man. I truly believe he's a wealthy man, and that the fake Satoshi knows how to hang with he knows how to convince people of his to be his buddy and to fund this because again, for this attack to be successful, there's going to need to be funding behind it. The attack.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a force multiplier defensive position. Like, your troops will get mowed down, like trying to take territory against like the Bitcoin hodlers.
Oh, okay. But the civil war within Bcash.
But Bcash doesn't matter. Bcash is irrelevant. It's I
know that, and you know that. I know that, and you know that.
Then why is it occupying so much time and attention?
Well, this is the thing. Yesterday, again, and I value my wealth in Bitcoin. I know I saw the same amount of Bitcoin that I had 2 days ago. But there are a lot of people out there. It was not a coincidence that the fiat price of Bitcoin went down yesterday. It was not a coincidental situation because again, I talk about the psychology of this space. People get when they hear something that is disturbing to them. It's disturbing when there's a guy who says he's Satoshi, who is a member of the fourth biggest crypto out there. When member is a big participant in that ecosystem, when he's constantly talking about war this, war that, people get into cryptocurrency. They don't know about the technical wars, and they want savings. They want money. They don't want war. So it's this talk is it is definitely scaring people off. And
well, there's a mute button. You mute,
and
it's mute, and it's done. Mute, done.
I agree.
Personal responsibility.
I agree wholeheartedly that this is nothing but an altcoin, but the noise is going to keep. You can say this about them. They're good attention seekers. They know how to get attention.
Like they, whatever. Anyways, are we going to talk about anything serious?
I want everyone to take what he just said. It isn't serious. It will pass. It is a blip on the radar. But you got to say, today everybody and their brother is talking about this situation over
Well, I'm only talking about it because you brought it up. I thought we were going to talk about Bitcoin and like serious stuff.
Well, I originally, I wanted to tell people to get you on here so that people would understand that this situation has no long-term effect on Bitcoin, which is basically what you have said. Let's go back to just pure Bitcoin stuff. Let us return to pure Bitcoin. So what do you see? Well, this year, obviously, in terms of fiat, has been disappointing for people. And I mean, I know I'm prepared that in terms of fiat, next year might not be a very happy time for those who value their wealth in fiat. But what do you foresee? What are some big things you're foreseeing for 2019 leading up to the halving?
Well, I mean, we've got Bakkt coming online. We've got LedgerX already operating. And so I think when Bakkt comes online, then we're going to be talking about investment committees, right? Like investment, like big hedge funds, banks, Goldman. Like Bitcoin's still here. It's not going anywhere. And guess what's been happening this whole year? Lightning Network, they've been working out bugs like Watchtower code just got merged in. We've got 4,000 nodes, like 12,000 channels. Bit refills processed 2,000 transactions with Lightning Network already. This is extensibility, the additional layer. BitPay, they paused Bitcoin Cash acceptance. It's like, why isn't BitPay have Lightning Network integrated? Like, what's the deal, right? So, if you're not moving forward on the latest tech, because BTC Pay, Nicholas Dorier's thing, it's got Lightning Network integrated. So if you're not moving forward, like you're just going to get left behind. If you're dinking around, like getting distracted and not building the right stuff that people need, to solve like real world use case issues, it's not going to be good for you. So we've got large institutions. So once there's an ability for them to move in with custodianship and these other infrastructure hurdles, the investment committees are going to give the green light for them to at least buy something. Yale and Harvard are both moved in with their endowments. The Yale finance professors wrote the article. 6% of total assets in Bitcoin at the upper end, like 1% at a minimum, 3% if you think it's going to just perform half as well as it has in the past. So, I mean, we're talking about huge amounts of capital that can potentially be coming into this space. And how low could it really go? I mean, hit 20,000 almost, like 5,500. Okay, even if it goes down another 50%, we're still looking at 2,750, which is up 100% from where it was 18 months ago. Like investors, they think in terms of decades. Speculators, traders, like they think in terms of days and weeks and months. Like hodlers of last resort, they have a long time horizon. Long.
Oh,
And so, like if you're just here to get rich quick and you have no mental investment and you can't control your emotions and you have no discipline, you're going to get wrecked, just absolutely wrecked. But if you've got like, if you got a long time horizon and your time preference has changed because you understand the nature of the soundest, hardest money that the world has ever seen. I mean, in 18 months, it's going to have a lower inflation rate than gold. I mean, and it's extensible. And the current system, like what money is, it's going to die. Like the current system is a burning platform. So like, where's everybody going to go? And so this is the hardest, soundest money that the world has ever known. And like, so how low can it really go? I mean, it's up 100% from 18 months ago.
Dude, he just long-term thinking, people. This is he's I mean, this is great. Deferral of gratification. The basic concepts that I preach every day, he's preaching them too. Pound that like button, people. I want to say this, that what you just said, that in 18 months, and you're talking about the halving, that the inflation rate of Bitcoin will be less than gold. That's what you just said. That's
yeah.
That's a great way of phrasing it, people, because there's a lot of gold fans out there. By the way, you still a gold fan? You still mess around in that realm?
Oh, yeah, I like gold. It's sound money. It could be gold, it could be the dollar, it could be Bitcoin. Like, the world has not settled on anything yet. And that's why we're seeing such wide fluctuations in the Bitcoin price over the last decade. I mean, 5 years ago, like Bitcoin, look at where Bitcoin's at from where it was 5 years ago. I mean, gold's just about the same place it was. So, I mean, you have to have long-term thinking. You have to have discipline. It's like, get rich quick. You're just going to get wrecked.
All right. You mentioned Harvard Endowment Fund, and obviously all of these endowments, and they're going to pile into Bitcoin eventually. It's a matter of time. A lot of people are like, why can't it just happen next week? You got to be patient. But there's one thing I would like to dig a little bit deeper into, because when Caitlin Long was on the show, she said that these big organizations, these financial behemoths, they're not just going to buy Bitcoin. There's going to be diversification. Do you think there is? Do you think these, give example, Harvard Endowment Fund, don't you think they're going to dip their toes into some of the other cryptocurrencies also?
Probably. I mean, like, doesn't mean they're going to make money doing it. Blockchain, not Bitcoin. We saw how that worked out.
Yeah. You mentioned the word blockchain again, and beforehand you mentioned blockchain.info and how no one should that your personal friend probably lost $10 million worth of Bitcoin because of blockchain.info. But did you hear how they're giving out Stellar now for people who sign up for blockchain.info?
They're going to start doing a lot of these like free airdrops, and it kind of gets around securities laws. And we're moving into an era of financial innovation. It has been hugely stifled over the last 100 years, and it's just a Cambrian explosion because of this censorship resistance. It's great, but Bitcoin is the apex predator. Know what I'm saying? Like, how do you kill this thing? You slice it in half with Mt. Gox, and it's like comes back and is like 20 times the size and fully healed. You try the same thing with Bcash, and it like the same thing happens. It's 20x bigger. Like, I mean, this Bitcoin thing is a behemoth. Like, it is an apex predator that is built to just survive. And then it just takes territory in terms of the world's wealth. It's a black hole on the world's balance sheet. So, if they're going to be buying like the Digital Galaxy digital asset index or whatever, and get all these altcoins of varying amounts, I mean, is that really their strategy? Like, they're just going to throw stuff at the wall, hope it sticks? Like, that's their strategy, really?
Diversification, diversification for the sake of diversification is a lot of people's strategy, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, because they don't have any conviction. And why don't they have conviction? Because they haven't done their homework. And why haven't they done their homework? Because they're not disciplined.
Dude, this is great stuff, man. Conviction. That's another one of my slogans. By the way, this apex predator, I'm gonna have to use. Can I use that in the future? Bitcoin, the apex predator.
Yeah. I coined that one too. It was at HoshoCon. I was up on stage and like they asked me a question about it because this is the security conference, right? And I was like, no, I mean, like you have your custodianship solutions. That's the first network effect, and all these altcoins don't have them because Michael Turpin had lost like $25 million in like a sim hacking and stuff. And it's because he had to keep these altcoins like on the exchange because he didn't have the wallets for them. And I was like, this is one of the reasons that Bitcoin is the apex predator, because you're going to be able to secure it because of all the infrastructure built around it. Like when's there going to be a Bakkt trading like Dash, for example, or Dogecoin? Like, not gonna happen. Not anytime soon. Like, when's a Dogecoin ETF gonna come out?
Well, if you think back to the .com era, there were some pretty crazy things going on. So you never know.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know.
That's Dogecoin, because at least the there's a different, Dogecoin isn't centralized real well. Anyway, there's you brought the Cambrian explosion, that in this space, there's so much newness, so much creativity and production out there. Now, on the other hand, we have people that are into destruction. And I believe that destruction is always defeated by productivity, of course.
Dude, you got to eat something.
Exactly. But here have you heard about the shark pool thing? There's the miners, they'll be targeting all sorts of
they're gonna like try to 51% attack the altcoins and stuff. That sounds awesome.
You think that? See, I think that's negativity. I think that
why?
Why not just let the altcoins do what they're gonna do? I don't think people should try to destroy the altcoins. I think people should learn that Bitcoin is the real thing, and then the altcoins can die out on their own or whatever, or people can learn the hard way with them. I don't think people should go killing altcoins.
I mean, if you can make money doing it, like, sounds like a good idea to me.
It's a paid assassin, and I don't know about that.
Dude,
I think that can scare people away. You can scare people away from Bitcoin.
Then try to kill Bitcoin that way.
Exactly. They won't be able to. That's the difference between Bitcoin and all the rest. And
well, let's prove it. Like we assert it, prove it. Like, so you're trying to scare people off from not killing all these altcoins. Like no, if security is such a big issue and Bitcoin's got all this security and these altcoins don't, like, why don't we see more like Bitcoin Gold, where it had the $18 million reorg attack and like just a mess on that blockchain, right? Like, we should be seeing this stuff a whole lot more often.
Well, apparently we are going to see it more. We are going to see it more often now. And
no, I mean, I'll believe it. I'll believe it when we see it.
The tone has been set here with this hash war. Also, people are getting up into a war frenzy. They want to. There's some people that want to destroy, and I know what you're saying. Like, let's let the world know that Bitcoin has the most security, and that's where you should be putting your value, not on any of these altcoins. But I'm not in. People are doing different experiments with these altcoins. I say just let them be. Just let them be, and ignore. Just like you were saying, ignore the crypto noise. If you don't like altcoins, ignore the altcoins. That's
well, I mean, that's what I do. But like, it's great to have these test beds where you can do experiments. Like, let's, if you're going to dissect a blockchain, like, you want one with the highest market cap because you're going to learn the most. It's too bad if it dies. It's just part of the process.
It is funny. Going back to fake Toshi, he is the one who's saying that he has basically said that these altcoins should be attacked, that there should be nothing but Bitcoin. Although what he thinks is Bitcoin is nothing but an altcoin, which is quite ironic, because if he gets his way and all of them get attacked, then he'll be the last one to get attacked. But he puts out that vibe that he's got the real Bitcoin.
Yeah, but it looks like his is like falling behind in blocks behind ABC or whatever it is. So like he's a pygmy.
Well, that's what people are saying in the chat now also, but something that he kept on spouting off beforehand. He's like, it's not just about one day. We can do this war for a week or a month or a year or whatever. And again, I think it's a bunch of bluster.
Then do it, because you know what a hodler of last resort can do? They can hold till it goes to zero. This is a game of chicken, like winner takes all.
Well, that's what, and he has put it that way also, that it's worth it for him to go to zero. He'll destroy it all. Yeah. Again, we've gone back to that point, but that was that's something that's going on in the crypto space today. So, by the way, Ken Bozak, thank you for the $4.20 in the super chat, and everyone in the chat, thank you for pounding that like button. Well, let's get, you talked about that Prism. Someone had a question about the Prism setup. I mean, is that too complicated to talk about right now?
Well, Prism is a laptop.
Yeah.
So you can buy one with or without a Wi-Fi card. It's got like great open source free source software on it that a lot more secure, not a lot of security holes, all this type of garbage.
So you buy it, you buy it, it's good to go right away.
Well, I mean, it runs Linux. A brand of it. So I mean, you're going to have to load all your software and stuff on it. It's a general purpose computer. It's not specialized just for Bitcoin, which I think is a weakness. Sure. Like Trezors or Ledgers, like they're Bitcoin specific computers, right? Like I think that's a weakness. I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, why so? That's interesting. Why?
Because they know whoever's buying it is going to use it for Bitcoin. Oh. Like you buy a Purism, they don't know what you're going to use it for.
Okay, so you're saying that the weakness is at the giving away who you are level type of thing. That someone will know that you have Bitcoin.
Well, they know that you're going to use that particular device for Bitcoin. So, like, if you're looking at it in terms of a search space, doing cryptanalysis, like you just made the search space a lot smaller.
Okay. All right, that is true. By the way, someone Dan Williams just sent $2 in the super chat. He said you and Trace can split this. We can split this $2. All right, and then
you can have it. I do all my stuff for free as a gift to the community.
Yeah, and our Rafterman just sent $2 too. He said I will be buying Bitcoin all the way down, dude. That's what I said. That's what I was. Thank you both of you guys for those $2. That is the holder of last resort. You have the conviction, and as I said on yesterday's show, I'm going down with this shit, baby. I'm not getting. I value my wealth in Bitcoin, and that.
How much lower can it go, really? Maybe 3,000, but there's big money stepping in buying this stuff. It was like $8 billion of volume. That's a lot of volume.
Oh, and I'll say this. We have insider information that shouldn't be insider information. Everyone should know that the big boys are on their way. But it's just a matter of time before these shoot. But people get caught up with the drama and the crypto noise. So they know more about personalities than they know about future trends, which is
they know more about personality than they know about managing their private keys and collecting their forks and harvesting them.
I agree.
It's like how'd you get your priorities mixed up?
It's easier to watch TV than to read a book, I guess.
I get like eat your Twinkies, good stuff. You'll be healthy.
Yeah. There was something about this. This is holders of last resort. It's an honor. After yesterday was so much panic in the air, you just become more elite when the dollar price goes down, because Some of the weak hands have been flushed out now, and there's the stronger hand club, the holders of last resort. It's become more of an elite club. There are fewer of us. All right, but
okay. Hey, I mean, here's a metric just to put this in perspective. Like Chain Analysis looked at the total number of Bitcoins. There's maybe 10 million that are active, available for sale, that haven't been lost, right? Out of about the 18 million, give or take. Let's say 10 million. There's 220,000 people on the planet with a $30 million net worth or more. If they moved 1% of their net worth into Bitcoin, they would buy 44 Bitcoins each, which would be that whole 10 million. There's just not much Bitcoin. Not at all.
Well, what I wanted to bring up with the holders of last resort concept, and clearly it is a legitimate concept with the Bitcoin community. I don't in altcoins, I don't think they even have holders of last resort. I don't think they're. I think in the bottom line is they'd be willing to turn it into Bitcoin if need be. Do you know in any of these altcoins if there is similar conviction to the conviction that is in Bitcoin?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, you don't know until like the sell orders start coming in.
Exactly.
You know. I mean, I've been around Bitcoin where it's gone down 35% in a day, in like 30 minutes when the 2013 like fork happened. Like, I mean, you know what type of mental and emotional discipline it takes to be a hodler of last resort. Like, this like you have to have such control of yourself and your emotions. Like, I mean, it's a hard thing to do, you know, really hard thing to do.
Well, here's a reminder, and I say this all the time, and I just want you to confirm. There's going to be a day in the future where the Bitcoin goes down by $5,000. True or false?
True. I mean, the dollar's not limited in amount. 50 years from now, who knows how many of those dollars are going to be around, but probably more than we got today.
Well, even a better prediction here. And this is just to strengthen people's hands. Bitcoin will go down by 20% one day in the future.
Oh, I don't know about that. The volatility has been getting greatly mitigated. We saw what, like 10, 12% in this recent shakeout and panic.
Yes.
You know, where it used to be a really big one used to be like 30% or 35. You know, we're talking like the way outside the standard deviations from the norm. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll probably see a 20. I'd say it's more probable than not, but you know, it's definitely getting less volatile.
Well, I think that yesterday or over the last few days that we could have a 10 to 12% one. I would still think there's got to be a 20% one left. And under this scenario, you know, in the future, Fidelity will be holding a lot of people's crypto, and you know, what's the type of the custodial? There'll be all sorts of custodial accounts. When a custodial account gets hacked, when a custodial account will be hacked eventually.
I mean,
that'll bring, the first time it happens, it'll probably bring the price down of Bitcoin by 20%.
HSMs and like, you know, multi-sig, and I don't know. The real professionalism that's coming into this space with the players like Fidelity, and that's Fidelity's wheelhouse, you know, like that's their wheelhouse. So the custodianship issue is really not that hard. It's when you got a bunch of people in a clown car that is hard. But I mean, like we've got very, very talented and experienced professionals that are coming into the space now. It like NIM, where it got hacked for 500 million. It was like two guys running the exchange over in Japan. Like Fidelity is not, you know, there's things like information system security standards. I mean, private keys, there's a whole industry around like securing these things and having key generation ceremonies and like FIPS certified hardware and like chains of custody and audits, and like you got ISAE audits and like SAS 70 type 2 audits for processes. Like, you know, these custodians like Fidelity, they're going to be doing it the right way, most likely.
Like Fidelity, but here you mentioned clown cars before. There are going to be clown cars that are posing as custodians, though.
I mean, like that's where the Fidelity name is like boom. You know, like how do you establish trust like that? That's why Bakkt is such a big deal when it comes to the movement of price discovery, because you know we're there. That's like operated by the people who operate the largest, deepest commodities markets in the world. I mean, these boys, like, they got big boy pants on.
Big boy, baby.
Really big boy pants.
All right, there's one, Dan Williams, and we're going to tie it up with this, because this is a positive type of question. Dan Williams sent $5 in the super chat, and he has this question. When we start back up, will it be slow or rip your face off?
I'd probably be slow. I mean, what did I do? I wrote an article, The Rise of the Fourth Great Bitcoin Bull. Bitcoin was $388. And I called it, you know, and boom, it ran up to 20,000. You know, these things, it takes a while, you know, it takes a while. Look for that Mayer multiple, you know, look for that Mayer multiple. And it helps you understand where you're at in the cycle, you know. So it's you know, this bipolar, like manic depressive way of approaching prices, like you just don't have the right time horizon view and lens that you're looking through.
Long-term thinking, people. Long-term thinking. Don't worry. Again, there are going to be days where it goes down by 500. There are going to be days it goes up by 500.
Well, that's why we're talking about the Mayer multiple, right?
Yes.
It's a 200-day moving average, you know, and then you start graphing that price and looking at the trend there. So you're looking at things with a 180-day, 200-day, 9 months of that filters out all the daily noise. Daily noise, it's irrelevant. You know, we want to see where the capital flows are going.
And by the way, right behind you is the a newspaper from the year 2009, I believe.
Yeah. So Chancellor on the second brink of bailout over there. Got Lightning Network white paper over there. Links art collection. Good stuff.
Lightning Network over that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a white paper for the Lightning Network. Let's see if we can yeah, anyways, can't really get it to work, but
well, Trace, thank you for that up close and personal look and all of your knowledge that you shared today on the show. It's we've run out of time, everybody. Thank you very much again, Trace. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. The energy you bring, the excitement, it should make everyone look forward to the future. It should also make everyone want to learn some more and prepare. It's all about preparation and long-term thinking.
Yeah, do your homework, get yourself in order, then you can get your financial situation in order, your private keys in order. I mean, that's, you know, don't be running around like just tossed around like some mouse by whoever.
With that knowledge, you can be successful, people. Don't run around like a wild man. Make your bed, as they say. Clean your room. Clean your room. That's the first step to success. All right, Trace, everybody. Hey, there'll be another show a little bit later on today at 7 p.m. Eastern time. For now, I'm Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the DisruptMeister. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the link section below. Pound that like button. Bitcoin. Bye-bye, everyone. See ya.
See ya.